There was a video I made a while back in response to a Jay's 2 cents post, and depending on how you hashed it up, you could either say I was defending miners or defending the invisible hand. And for some context, I've never mined with any of my cards. I've several cards right in the closet. It's part of my job, reviewing, recursive testing, and the like. I've never mined with any of them. It just doesn't sit right with me because I don't necessarily pay out of pocket for them. But what I also won't do is attack miners for buying what they can buy and using these cards in a way that they're actually fairly effective with many of these cryptocurrencies. So there's my little disclaimer. I have no animosity towards miners at all. However, what I do have animosity towards are posts like this one here. People are getting a hold of dozens of graphics cards only days after launch and flipping them for huge profits in bulk. It isn't even like any of these had a chance of ending up in a desperate gamer's hands above MSRP. He sold all 72 of these at one time. What kind of backdoor shady deal went down for this seller to end up with this many cards this early? And why is this kind of thing so prevalent on eBay and the like? Let's talk, stay with me. The Patriot Viper VP4300 is a blazing fast Gen 4 NVMe SSD with a cutting edge controller and DDR4 DRAM cache with tight timings. Reads and writes peg well over 6,000 megabytes per second and included swappable heat shields ensure compatibility and ultra portable solutions. Enjoy a 5-year warranty with either 1 or 2 terabyte capacities, and you can learn more about them by clicking the link below. So this particular listing here was for 72 EVGA GTX RTX 3060 Ti XCs located in Logan, Utah. The winning bid was $81,300. It was bid on 155 times and shipping was $500 extra. Now this is a sold listing, which means somebody actually won all 72 of these cards. They paid $81,300. That was a winning bid. And actually, if you click here, you'll see that these are all of the bids, all of the increments. This looks pretty legit. Like if you were trying to just throw a ridiculous number out there, you would go ahead and just pitch it right off the bat. But you can see that it was pretty much bid up from the start at about $14,000, all the way up in small increments, relatively speaking, to about $81,000, and winning bid right here from this person who apparently does a lot of business on eBay. The description states that supply will not be split, which means you have no choice but to buy all 72 of these cards at once, which of course that shuts out any chance that a random gamer would have of buying one. There's also a convenient hash rate listed here to, of course, encourage mining. Now, let's be clear, okay? This listing popped up days after these cards were launched. In fact, you can see on February 27th, which is like a day or two after the 3060 Ti launched, the seller added the following information here. This is not a bid scam. All cards are real, operable, actual NVIDIA 3060 Ti cards. Like, yeah, come on. These cards were likely headed somewhere where they'd be sold for at or around MSRP, okay? At some e-retail warehouse, could be Amazon or Newegg Distribution Center, could be a brick and mortar like Micro Center, who knows? But they'd probably be sold at MSRP. These big box retailers usually do stick to around manufacturer recommended prices, and they'd be sold to gamers, right? Miners even, let's be real, even flippers, right? There are folks who are buying single cards, turning around, flipping them on eBay. It's happening with the EVGAQ system. It's happening with Newegg's raffle system. Heck, it's probably even happening. It's probably happening everywhere. Let's be honest. Anywhere you can buy a graphics card for a sensible price, because that opens the door to arbitrage, and it'll work so long as folks continue buying at 2 or even 3 times MSRP on sites like eBay. But my quarrel isn't even with the flippers. I certainly think they rank lower on the totem pole than miners, that's for damn sure, but they still aren't the root of the problem. See, when you remove in bulk, right, the number of cards in circulation by circumventing retailers and vendors, OEMs and the like, you become the problem. You are the ones creating artificial scarcity. I mean, look at this. This is, I mean, what is this? How do you get a hold of this many as an individual? It doesn't seem like the seller is, you know, some large brick and mortar able to obtain entire crates, pallets, whatever of these cards. How is stuff like this allowed to happen? These people are literally snatching cards from the hands of the little guy, single end users, and the fact that crap like this is happening on public platforms days after launch, literally a day or two after this card was launched, this only adds insult to injury. How are genuine shoppers for GPU upgrades supposed to feel when they see crap like this? How is it supposed to restore confidence in a system many already believe to be broken and rigged? When we hear stories of pallets of cards being stolen or product being smuggled across borders, is that supposed to make us feel all warm and fuzzy inside? We're already being shafted enough as it is by e-retailers like Newegg and Amazon. Amazon refuses to hold almost any stock at all of graphics cards themselves. Instead, they let the third-party retailers take care of that, and they always charge 2 or 3 times what they should. And Newegg continues to bundle cards with unwanted crap like motherboards and PSUs that aren't even capable of supplying enough wattage to the card in question. That's what they're bundling with these things. It's ridiculous. Point is, things are already difficult enough to deal with. It's either pay big bucks for a card now or wait several months and cross your fingers. But seeing ads like these should really be an eye-opener. It's all about profit in the end. Distributors will happily sell the entire lot to a random dude on the side of the street for full asking price just to see that profit sooner. And that random dude will happily turn it around and sell each card at more than double MSRP in a freaking 72 lot bundle. Not even decent enough to part them out. I mean, hell, I'd be a lot less upset, to be completely honest with you, if this was, you know, a parted out situation where each card was being sold for $1,000, something ridiculous, but still a consistent number that they frequently sell for on eBay, right? He's gonna make you buy all 72 of them. He's gonna advertise to minors and completely sidestep the little guy just looking to game. I'm honestly kind of surprised that this isn't a more common occurrence, or maybe it is, and we just don't know about it. Now, to be clear, there is a significant difference between something like this, what we just saw, and this here. So this ad is for 20 GTX 1070 Ti's. These cards, first off, are several years old. They're not making the same dent in this industry, and especially with ampere supply that these are. I mean, this is like what? This is Pascal architecture here. Great architecture. 1070 Ti's are awesome cards. They were for the price, especially in the used market. But now, I mean, you just can't find, like, what is this? This is a lot of 20? And you bought them for, someone bought this for $18,500 a little over a month ago. That doesn't make, I mean, that's an awful deal. That means somebody paid pretty close to $1,000 each for these GTX 1070 Ti's. That's a bit desperate. But anyway, I wanted to clarify that my issue is with listings like this one, right, involving ampere cards, because these are being actively produced right now. Listings like these are directly affecting supply you see on e-retailer sites and in brick and mortars. Listings like these, not so much. Not really at all, actually. This listing here probably came from a miner who's been using these cards for several years. And again, the fact that this card was produced several years ago means that it's not really making a dent in the current industry. Although it is contributing to the overall inflation of the market if the other sellers see that buyers are willing to pay upwards of $800-900 for a 1070 Ti, then those other sellers might feel inclined to raise their asking prices as well. And when they all do that, then yeah, prices across the board go up, buyers get shafted in the long run. But anyway, supply is already tight enough as it is, and when you remove entire shipments from the equation like this and sell to some miner directly, you aren't helping the situation. That's kind of the point here. It's just, you're not even giving bots and scripts a fighting chance, which is pretty ridiculous to say because I hate bots and scripts, but even individuals are using them because they feel like they have no other choice. They're being cornered. And, you know, when you sell 72 cards all at once in bulk, you're not even giving them a fighting chance because no script is going to buy 72 in bulk, especially when these 3060 Ti's are marked up this much. Even if the intended goal was to flip, right, there's no additional room for profit here. So there's no reason to buy all 72 and think, oh yeah, I can make so much more money. These margins are crazy. They're really not. Someone paid a premium for these 3060 Ti's. There's really no window, no opportunity for making some extra cash. I mean, maybe a few $100, but that's a pretty crappy return given the investment made. I don't know, guys. This, you know, you see stuff like this and just really grinds your gears. I wanted to bring this to your attention because you should know what you're up against, right? The game is clearly rigged. Stuff like this is happening quite a bit. Maybe not to this extent, but it is happening quite a bit under the table. Distributors and retailers are letting hundreds, if not thousands of these cards slip through the cracks for a quick buck, and it is leaving a sour taste in the mouth of the PC gaming industry. That's all for this one. Leave a comment down below. I would appreciate that. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one. My name is Greg. Sorry for the bearer of bad news. Thanks for learning with me.